Happy Monday, North Central Washington, and yes, there is such a thing as a happy Monday. At least if you're watching this show, we hope. This is Wake Up in Anchi Valley, 27th day of November, 2017. It is Monday. The long 4-day holiday weekend is a done deal. I hope you had a great Thanksgiving. I hope you had some time over the weekend. For many people, a 4-day weekend to check out the NCW Live channel. But now we're back at it. Everybody's kind of stuffed their gills full of all the turkey leftovers. I know I'm guilty of that. And now life is back to normal. Kinda, sorta. I'm Dan Coons. Thanks for starting your day and your work week with us here on the NCW Live channel. You'll notice there's no chair to my immediate left. Our news director, Steve Harris, still getting over a little bit of a bug. Steve got a little on the downside health-wise over the weekend, so we want Steve to be as healthy as possible. So he's resting, taking today off. I'll be handling your news coming up here in just a couple of minutes. And my guest today, in case you missed it on Friday, is we're going to play back the interview that I did with Major Ralph Jimenez from the Wenatchee chapter of the Salvation Army. The bell ringers are out in full force. They have been since the day after Thanksgiving. It's a great interview with Major Ralph Jimenez from the Salvation Army. We're recruiting volunteers, and when we say that, we're talking about you folks. Give the Salvation Army a hand. We'll talk about that with that interview with Major Jimenez coming up in the second half of the show. We got lots of sports to get to, most of it, of course, football related, but we got some Wenatchee Wild hockey highlights as well from over the weekend. Not a bad weekend. Victories on Wednesday, victory on Friday, and then on Saturday night, Salmon Arm got the best of the Wenatchee Wild. Highlights are coming up. We have Today in History, the obscure holiday, birthdays. We'll talk about the Les Schwab Community Toy Drive as well on a busy Monday, and a beautiful Monday at that. A gorgeous, gorgeous day today. I hope you had a chance to get out and enjoy the weekend. It wasn't so bad, and if you missed it, you get Monday off. You're in for a beautiful day today with lots of sunshine. Let's take you around North Central Washington with our Valley View cameras. Good morning, Wenatchee proper. Look at that. Just gorgeous. Our cross camera is what we call that, and that's pulled back about as far as we can pull it back as the sun begins to creep out over the horizon. It's only 2 minutes after the hour here on this Monday. Sunrise isn't until 7:23, and that's going to give us, I think, some pretty good looking shots, especially as we go to the Tumwater. Let's go up to Leavenworth and see what we got there. Yeah, it's still a little dark there. And not surprisingly, the way it's tucked in there. And I'm seeing some patchy fog, it looks like, in Leavenworth. And we're going to be dealing with some fairly thick fog coming up on Wednesday and Thursday of this week in those forecast details. That camera is right when you enter the Tumwater Canyon, where the Wenatchee River, of course, carves through. So that's looking over Leavenworth proper. Good morning, Leavenworth. Omi Garden, now about 10 minutes ago, this was a great view. Oh, and it still is. The very tip of Omi Garden, you can see the Stimmel Complex, the Ortobashian Bridge, and of course the East Wenatchee area as the sun climbs over the bench on a beautiful Monday. What a gorgeous view that is from Omi Garden. And up to Lake Wenatchee we go with our Two Rivers camera. Let's check in with the lake. Good morning, Lake Wenatchee. We move that camera around. That's pointing down the lake. It's a little breezy up there, isn't it? That's one of our taller cameras. This is so people in the Lake Wenatchee area who don't have fiber can get high-speed internet, courtesy of Localtel's Sky-Fi high-speed wireless internet. So as long as you can see the Two Rivers Tower, you can get internet. Pretty cool, huh? Call 888-8888 for more details. It is 3 minutes after the hour on this Monday edition of Wake Up in Anchi Valley. I am Dan Coons, your weather forecast from the National Weather Service. Most of this week, I guess the word is quiet. Really not a lot going on. We had some fairly wet weather yesterday. It kind of spittled rain off and on. A break in the weather today. Not much going on, lots of sunshine. And then another weather system is going to arrive Tuesday with some snow in the mountains. And we're going to have some fog and some locally breezy conditions expected. Mostly dry weather. And then things get a little more active by the time we get to Thursday night and Friday, and then Saturday and Sunday. This is really very typical November weather. 44 was our high yesterday, so quite a bit of sunshine today, high of 46. That is above normal by about 6-7 degrees. Clouds are back tonight, 31 for the overnight low for Tuesday. Cloudy in the morning, sunshine in the afternoon, high of 43. Tuesday night is when that next system comes in that we were talking about. Slight chance of some light rain, no real measurable precipitation expected Tuesday night, 33 for the overnight low. Rain, not snow, if we get anything at all. Wednesday, more sunshine, high of 44. Again, it's kind of cloudy. Kind of quiet, I should say, quiet weather. Thursday, go back to the clouds, high of about 40. Next chance of measurable precipitation, just the slightest chance Friday night, and we head into Saturday and Sunday, which is the first weekend in December. It's just really not a lot going on. Again, slight chance of some light rain on Tuesday night, another slight chance of light rain mixed with snow at times Friday night. Outside of that, really not a lot to talk about from Mother Nature, giving us a break from the wet weather that we had over the holiday weekend. The passes, they're pretty good too right now. Let's take you to the mountain passes. Snoqualmie Pass, no advisories, no restrictions. Roadway's pretty much bare and wet. Some slush in places. They're getting light snow right now on I-90, but it's not sticking to the roadway. Stevens, which is about 1,000 feet higher in elevations, they do have a traction tire advisory, as you can see there, compact snow and ice on the roadway. It's snowing at a fairly heavy clip right now on Stevens Pass. That's why they have a traction tire advisory posted. Blewett Pass, no advisories, no restrictions. It's clear. A couple of patches of frost and ice. That's all you're going to get on Blewett Pass. Your forecast for the mountain passes today, very light snow on Snoqualmie, not real measurable. Stevens, though, is going to get a couple of inches off and on throughout the course of the day on Monday. And then tonight, Stevens is going to get a couple of more inches of snow. Again, Stevens, being about 1,000 feet higher than Snoqualmie, has a better chance of accumulating snow. That's going to be the case. A little bit of snow today, a little bit of snow tonight on Stevens. And then all the passes, Blewett, Stevens, and Snoqualmie, are going to get measurable snow on Tuesday, as we're expecting a little bit of light rain in the Wenatchee Valley. They're expecting snow in the mountains. About 3 to 7 inches, depending on elevation, on Tuesday, and an additional 2 to 4 inches of snow expected on Tuesday night. They need to build back up the inventory. Remember, they had quite a bit of snow melt last week when the warm, wet weather came in, and they had standing water, and a lot of the ski resorts were not able to get going over the weekend, and that included Mission Ridge. They just had too much rain and warm temperatures and quite a bit of snow melt. So things are looking pretty good in the mountain passes. Again, traction tires are advised on Stevens. It's probably going to stay that way for the rest of the day today, into tonight, and into tomorrow. So if you need to head over the mountain passes, the time to go now, I would say. 7 minutes after the hour on this Monday edition of Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. I'm Dan Kuntz, pulling a solo today. Get well soon, Steve. I'm sure he's home watching. Going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll have your Monday morning headlines. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley live from Studio 4 on the NCW Life channel.
December 2nd is the date you want to be at Antique Mall at Cashmere for their Customer Appreciation Day. Don't miss out on the fun. There will be door prizes, free gift wrapping, layaway, gift certificates available, festive refreshments, and loads of special sales throughout the 15,000 square foot mall. The Antique Mall at Cashmere has something for everyone, from the avid collector to the do-it-yourselfers and toys for the young and young at heart. At Antique Mall at Cashmere, you'll find treasures in every corner.
Here at Town Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram, we are motivated to sell you your next vehicle. Whether it's new or used, we have a great selection of all-wheel drives, pickups, sedans, minivans, and muscle cars. With huge rebates and incentives on new and competitive pricing on used, there is no need to go out of town to buy. So here's to a great 2017 here at Town Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram.
Get a nice surprise today at Town Chrysler Family Store.
And now it's time for your local news update with Steve Hare.
And once again, I'm Dan Kuntz, filling in for News Director Steve Hare, who's a little under the weather. We hope to have Steve back on Tuesday. In the meantime, here's your Monday morning headline. Coulee Dam couple suspected in a weekend stabbing in the Moses Lake area is now in custody. Rebecca Norton, who's on your left, and Aaron Falsgraf Miller on your right surrendered without incident shortly after 4 o'clock yesterday afternoon. Responders were called in about 4 o'clock Saturday morning to the 11,000 block of Road 14 Northeast for an adult male who had been stabbed. He underwent surgery at Samaritan Hospital in Moses Lake to repair injuries from multiple stab wounds to his neck and torso. The victim has not been identified. Again, Rebecca Norton and Aaron Falsgraf Miller, who were wanted by authorities over the weekend, are now in custody. They turned themselves in without incident yesterday afternoon. Well, Chelan PUD, working with the City of Cashmere maintenance crews, have identified 18 of 57 Norway spruce trees along Evergreen Drive in Cashmere. They've been identified as hazardous to the public and to the electrical and fiber infrastructure, so they got to go. The trees are anywhere from 60 to 80 feet in height. They're about 85 years old. PUD Forestry Operations Manager Bill Sanborn fears that a storm could cause the trees to come down and threaten public safety and electrical and fiber equipment. So the PUD and the City of Cashmere plan to begin working this Wednesday, if the weather allows, to start taking down those trees. The crews estimate it'll take about 4 days to remove all the trees. Evergreen Drive will be closed during this procedure to everybody except local residents. They'll be allowed to get on through. And finally, on this Monday morning, donations of money and toys continue to stream into the Les Schwab Community Toy Drive, which is going on right now. Area Manager and Toy Drive Chair Kirk Mosier gave us an update during the collection and sorting event that was held yesterday afternoon at the local Tel Federal Building.
So far things are going really, really well at the community toy drive. We've had a lot of cash donations. We're starting to get a lot of toys coming in. It's been a really good process that we've seen so far. We've got some exciting events coming up. We've got Ask the Experts, which is going to be hosted by NCW Live and on KKRV. We've also got some shopping sprees coming up. The shopping sprees, we're going to have those on the 7th and the 8th at Hooked on Toys, and we're using some of the children from Ask the Experts. We've committed $1,000 to each shopping spree that we're going to do at Hooked on Toys, so we can provide toys for the kids so they have something to open this year for Christmas. On December 9th, we'll be out in front of Hooked on Toys. We'll have live remotes with KKRV, La Nueva. We're going to be doing some shopping sprees there. You'll also be able to donate toys and come out, and we have recommended toy lists that you can pick up in order to see what these kids are in need of. At the end of the day, we obviously want to give them a toy, but we also want to make sure it's something that they can use and that as well. Again, we continue to ask the community, please continue to get behind this and help us make sure that every kid has a great Christmas. That's our goal.
We invite you to visit the Les Schwab Community Toy Drive Facebook page for locations and upcoming events near you. Wherever you go out and about between now and Christmas, you'll get to see those great big boxes for the Les Schwab Community Toy Drive. You can also bring a new unwrapped toy, if you so desire, to our studios here at the NCW Live Channel. We're at 201 South Chelan, and bring them by during regular business hours. Don't forget, you can get a hold of us in any number of ways to send us your news tips. You want to comment, you want to do anything that you think to make our station better, because this is as much your station as it is ours. What you do is look at the bottom of your screen. You can email us directly. You can contact us via our website. You can go to our Facebook page and message us. You can call us. Telephones still work indeed. We try to make it as easy as possible for you to get a hold of us for whatever reason you might want to get a hold of us. And that's all the information that you see is at the bottom of your screen, and we'd love to hear from you, our viewers. It is 12 minutes after the hour on this Monday edition of Wake Up in Angie Valley. I'm Dan Koontz. When we come back, sports and a lot of it. You're watching a Monday edition of Wake Up in Angie Valley live on the NCW Live Channel.
I'm Grant Olson, and you're watching the NCW Live Channel.
I'm Eric Grandstrom with NCW Live Sports.
I'm NCW Live News Director Steve Hare.
Catch us on Local Tel Channel 12.
You can watch us on Charter Channel 19 or stream us live on ncwlife.com.
Follow us on Twitter and like us on Facebook.
Where we cover the local high schools, the Wenatchee Wild, and the pro teams out of Seattle.
On Saturday, we have a 90% chance of rain.
Catch it all right here on the NCW Live Channel.
This is the NCW Life Community Calendar brought to you by Local Tel. Head on down to the Wenatchee Valley Museum December 2 from 10 to 4, where kids of all ages are encouraged to come and make handmade gifts and crafts, warm up with a cup of hot cocoa, and get their picture taken with Santa. Also, Stage Kids will be performing Bah Humbug, a musical adaptation of A Christmas Carol, November 30 to December 2 at the Numerica Performing Arts Center. Tickets can be found at numericapac.org. For more information, visit ncwlife.com.
13 minutes after the hour, we are live here from Studio 15 in downtown Wenatchee. Let's take a look at sports on this Monday morning. The high school fall sports season took one more step to conclusion of the weekend. The state semifinal football games were held all over the state. Here is your Les Schwab Prep scoreboard. We'll start with the smaller schools. Congratulations, Elmira, Cooley, Heartline, Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young. No problems in Bellingham. They took care of Lummi Nation. The final 60-6. In Sunnyside, Christian advances to the state championship game with their 62-22 victory over Odessa. In the 2B semifinals, it was Kalama over Napaville, 20-13, and Liberty over Asotin. The final was 21-16. In the 1A semifinals, Royal over Newport, 35-7, and Meridian over La Center, 34-14. In the 2A semifinals, Hawkinson all over West Valley of Spokane. The final there was 53-30, and Tumwater nipped Archbishop Murphy. The final was 10-6. In the 3A semifinals, O'Day over Bellevue, 34-33, and Rainier Beach defeated Garfield, 49-21. And the big schools, the 4A semifinals, Richland over Central Valley. That game down in Pasco. The final was 42-10. Woodinville shut out Sumner, 10-0. So coming up this weekend, it is the state WIAA championships, and they'll get going Friday. Sunnyside Christian will take on Elmira Cooley Heartline in the 1B title game. That's 4 o'clock at the Tacoma Dome. That'll be followed by O'Day and Rainier Beach for the 3A championship. Then Saturday, 4 games in a row beginning at 10 a.m. Playing football at 10 a.m. must not be very fun, but on the other hand, it is for the state championship. They get going with the 2A championship. That's Hawkinson versus Tumwater. That'll be followed by Royal and Meridian. They'll do battle at 1 o'clock for the state 1A championship. Kalama and Liberty face off for the 2B championship at 4 o'clock, and then finally Richland and Woodinville for the state 4A championship at 7:30 Saturday night at the Tacoma Dome. For the Wenatchee Wild, they went 2-1 over the weekend at the Town Toyota Center. They beat Vernon Wednesday 2-1. Then the Wild stopped Chilliwack Friday 4-2 in a very tight contest that came down to the wire. Art Checker had the call here on the Wenatchee Wild Hockey Network.
Bouncing puck into the zone, shot, score! And that's a basic case of willing the puck towards the net. It wasn't pretty, but it counts. Jackson Wozniak just kind of helping to guide the puck along with his body, and it bounced over to Jared Christie. And Christie rips it home low on the blocker's side. Tries to get around Shaladic now with a step, tries to go wide on Galambus. He's in, and they come running in and knock Park for a loop, coming down the left side. And boy, Park's blocker went flying all the way over to the near side. Here's Stratton, gains the line, feathers it across for Arnold, spins around, he scores! Sharply across, right side, held in, driven low and wide, back in front, shot, score! Sammy Morton drove it home, and Nathan Iannone set him up with the pass. Fires it across, there's a shot, save, rebound, score! Turcotte with the backhander. It was a big high-rising shot from Gresh at the left side, and the rebound fell out front. It was a good shoulder stop made by Park, but Turcotte was right there to sweep in the loose rebound. Sent back to the near side, shot and a score. As the Chiefs have closed the gap to 1, Powell Connor from the right side drilled it over to the left wall, and Marcus Tessink, playing in his first game for the Chiefs, sent the shot through traffic. He gets behind Austin Park. Power play goal for the Chiefs, and it's a 1-goal hockey game. Banked out and pushed out through center, and there's Souter with an empty net at the horn. And the Wild, with a buzzer beater, win it 4-2.
Wenatchee's 7-game home winning streak came to an end, though, on Saturday night with a 2-1 loss to Salmon Arm. Again, Arch Ecker with the highlights.
Sent over to Demon, his shot, score! That may have gone off the blocker of Dumba into the net, and it had that much steam on it. Murphy Stratton leads the path, so maybe he got a stick on it as well. Tried to dump it in, but it flipped away from him, and Constable's in. He shoots and he scores. Souter slides it to Vanderbeek, over to Hessler. He's tripped up and he shoots, and the puck went in. The goal light is on, but the referee indecisive. He hasn't signaled if it's a goal or not. The puck went in. I think the referee wants to talk about it with the other referee and decide whether or not they want to allow that goal. And he's going to say no, which surprises no one. He's got the speed to get a step. Comes in front, gets taken down, hooked down as he went sliding in. It's going to be a penalty shot. And the left-hander picks up the puck, arcs over to his right, in with speed, mishandled it and never got the shot off. And over to the near side boards, lunging, trying to clear it was Sasaki. It's held in by Timba. Back across, shot and a score. Josh Latta picked the top corner from between the circles. 18 seconds remaining. Demon moves it ahead into the zone. Here come the Wild. Souter snapped it ahead. It's in the boots of Stratton. He wanted to center, couldn't get it there. Constable's going to press it up against the wall. 8 seconds left. Clock ticking down to 5 seconds. Wild extracted, rolled in front, cleared, and out of the zone. And that's going to do it. They run out of time as Dumba almost knocked out the referee with his celebratory punch. But the Salmon Arm Silverbacks steal one on the road.
Next up for the Wild, a road trip. They'll be taking on Vernon. Up in Vernon, they'll take on the Vipers Wednesday at 7 o'clock. Well, for the Central Washington Wildcats, their undefeated season came to an end in the second round of the NCAA Division II playoffs in Ellensburg on Saturday. Central went into the locker room with a 28-7 lead at halftime, but Texas A&M Commerce came all the way back to tie it. They forced overtime. The two teams would kick field goals in the first OT, and the second Central failed to score. A&M kicked a 34-yarder to win 34-31. Meanwhile, on the Mountain Lake Cut, the Washington Huskies rolled all over the Washington State Cougars in the 110th Apple Cup, 41-14 Saturday night. Miles Gaskin rushing for 192 yards, 4 touchdowns. Washington ran out to a 24-0 halftime lead, led at 34-0 before the Cougars finally scored. Luke Falk, one of his worst days as a Cougar. He completed 37 of 55 passes, 369 yards and a touchdown, but 3 interceptions. His quarterback rating, 17.4. That's not good. The Washington win means Stanford is the Pac-10 North champion. They will face USC for the Pac-12 title this weekend. For the Washington Huskies, have now won 5 consecutive Apple Cups and 15 of the last 20. The Seattle Seahawks got back in the winning track on Sunday. Despite struggling with only 7 points in the first half, Seattle scored 17 straight points in the second half before San Francisco scored a touchdown on the game's final play. Makes the final score appear a little closer than it was. Russell Wilson finished with 2 touchdowns passing, 1 rushing. Seattle improves to 7-4 on the season, but they're in a must-win situation pretty much every week from here on out as we check the rest of the NFC West. The LA Rams bounced back from last week's loss to down the red-hot New Orleans Saints, the final 26-20. Arizona got a last-second field goal to edge Jacksonville 27-24. Seattle remains a game back of the Rams in the standings. Seattle hosts the best team in the NFL next week, well, the team with the best record anyway. The Eagles at 10-1 are coming to town next week. LA will be in Arizona for a divisional battle with the Cardinals. And that is sports at 22 minutes after the hour on this Monday, the 27th day of November 2017. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley live here from Studio 2. The obscure holiday of the day today is Pins and Needles Day. Pins and Needles Day. My mom had one of those. That brings back some memories. Is it about being anxious, being on pins and needles? No, it isn't really. The origin of Pins and Needles goes back 80 years ago today with a Broadway play by the name of Pins and Needles. It was a pro-labor movement play. It took place at the Labor Stage Theater in New York City. It ran for 1,108 performances at the time. It was the longest running play in Broadway history. It isn't anymore. And it was all about labor and all the terrible conditions that professional seamstresses and sewers had back in the mid-1930s. It can also be about being on pins and needles as well, but it's actually about sewing. So there you go, which, by the way, is making a big comeback. Pins and Needles Day, always celebrated on November 27th, and today is the 80th anniversary of that very, very special holiday. And at 23 minutes after the hour, let's do Today in History. 4 events that caught my eye as I did my research over the weekend. It was November 27th, 1835, from the We've Come a Long Way department. 182 years ago today, James Pratt and John Smith were hung in London. They were executed. Their crime? Sodomy. That's right, sodomy. If you were convicted of sodomy in England 182 years ago, the penalty was death. They don't do that anymore. Happened on this date in 1835. 93 years ago today, November 27th, 1924. That's not an actual photo of the very first Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. I couldn't find one. But the very first Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade was held on this date in New York City 94 years ago today. It is now the largest parade in the world. The largest parade in the world if you go by strictly attendance. Millions and millions of people crammed Midtown Manhattan for the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade, which was first held on this date 93 years ago. The very first man-made object to reach Mars reached Mars on this date 46 years ago. Didn't quite turn out so great. It was the Soviet space program's Mars 2 orbiter. It released its descent module. It went down way, way too fast. Oops. It malfunctioned. It crashed into a million little pieces all over the surface of Mars, but it was the first man-made object to make it to Mars, so you get that. It happened on this date 46 years ago today. It's in the lower left-hand corner, and it's, of course, still there in pieces. And 12 years ago today, on this date in 2005, it was Elizabeth Brooks's bar mitzvah. It was held at the fantabulous Rainbow Room in Midtown Manhattan. Among the performers at Elizabeth Brooks's bar mitzvah included Tom Petty, Aerosmith, Don Henley, Joe Walsh, Stevie Nicks, and the rapper 50 Cent. 50 Cent performed 4 songs for about 20 minutes. For his 4-song, 20-minute set, 50 Cent was paid $500,000. The bar mitzvah itself cost $10 million and included the cost of all the private jets to get Joe Walsh and Aerosmith and Tom Petty and everybody to Manhattan and back again. Elizabeth Brooks's dad, by the way, was very, very rich. A $10 million bar mitzvah for Elizabeth Brooks took place 12 years ago today in New York City. In 25 minutes after the hour, let's do some birthdays. Here's Cal Worthington and his dog Spot. You remember him? We all have memories of the great Cal Worthington ads in the 1970s. In the 1980s, of course, Spot was never a dog. It was a chimpanzee or an elephant or a seal. One time, Spot was an elephant. Cal Worthington, by the mid-1990s, was the largest single owner of a car dealership in America. $300 million, over $300 million, well over $300 million in annual sales. Cal Worthington, the car dealer, was born in this state in 1920. He passed away at the age of 92 at the age of 2013. Fun fact about Cal Worthington, he never owned an automobile. He would just simply borrow one off the lot. In fact, all of our birthdays today have Northwest connections because Cal Worthington had a huge dealership in Federal Way, Washington, which was the largest single car dealership in the state of Washington for many, many years. Cal Worthington, born in the state in 1920. Northwest connections, James Marshall Hendricks. Jimi Hendrix, born in the state in 1942, of course, born and raised in Seattle, the greatest rock and roll guitarist of all time. With all due apologies to the fans of Eric Clapton and Chuck Berry and all the other legendary guitarists that we think of when we think of rock and roll guitarists, Jimi Hendrix, number one. Of course, he died at the age of 27 back in 1970. The greatest guitarist of all time was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 1992. I spent most of my day yesterday listening to Jimi Hendrix. The guy was an absolute genius guitarist and a great songwriter, too. Jimi Hendrix, born in the state in 1942 in Seattle. Northwest connections, Bill Nye, the science guy. He's 62 years old today. He was an engineer at Boeing. Made a lot of money. He won a Steve Martin look-alike contest in 1978, and he kind of changed gears and became a comedian. Of course, he was on Almost Live, the great King Show back in the 1990s, and of course, Bill Nye, the science guy that the Seattle PBS affiliate produced for many, many years. Bill Nye, the science guy. He is 62 years old today. And Willie Bloomquist, the great American baseball player, just retired from the Seattle Mariners last year. A utility player. He played during his time with the Seattle Mariners. He played at one point or another every position except pitcher and catcher. He just retired last year. Willie Bloomquist, a native of Port Orchard, graduated from South Kitsap High School. Willie Bloomquist, the Mariner utility player, recently retired, is 40 years old today. And a belated birthday, I missed this, I apologize. Yesterday, Lisa Crawford celebrated a birthday. Happy birthday, Lisa, from her Local-Tel family. She's a great gal. She works for the Local-Tel facility on Grant Road in East Wenatchee. Lisa is 49 years old now. She turned 49 yesterday. Sorry about the belated birthday, Lisa. My apologies for that. Don't forget, you can submit birthdays to us. It's very simple. Any number of ways to do it, just like it is for you to get a hold of us. You can go to our website at ncwlife.com, and when you go to our website, you'll see the icon for Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. If you click on that icon, like that, up pops the Birthday Club submission form. You fill out the form, you attach the photo, and we'll get your local celebrity's birthday on the air. Or if you want to, go to our Facebook page and message us that way so we can get your local celebrity's birthday on the air here on Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. Once again, a friendly reminder, the Les Schwab Community Toy Drive is well underway. We're very proud to be a part of it. In addition to our friends at, of course, Les Schwab, which is putting it on, Country 104.7 KKRV, the Wenatchee World, Sangster Motors, Columbia Valley Community Health, Works, Hooked on Toys, and of course, any Les Schwab location in Wenatchee and East Wenatchee. Wherever you go out and about, just pick up a brand new unwrapped toy for the less fortunate and put it in the box. We'll get it all sorted out to make sure that every kid has multiple brand new toys under the Christmas tree this holiday season. Go to the Les Schwab Community Toy Drive Facebook page for all the information you need, all right? 29 minutes after the hour, just about 30 minutes after the hour on this 27th day of November. It's a Monday. Mike Magnotti's opinion is coming up here in just a little bit. It's about traffic cameras. This will be fascinating. And a reminder, Mike Magnotti's show, Street Talk and Other Stuff, will be live from this very studio at 10 o'clock. Paul Hughes from the Hospitality Ministries will be Mike's guest today at 10 o'clock here on the NCW Live channel. So everyone is entitled to Mike Magnotti's opinion. Then we're going to play back my interview with Major Ralph Jimenez from the Salvation Army. It's all coming up in the second half of Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Live channel.
Family come to visit, bring them to Kashmir for a fun Applets and Cotlets factory tour. Liberty Orchards celebrates 97 years making delicious candies such as the original famous Applets and Cotlets and other fruit and nut specialties like Fruit Delights, fruit chocolates, and nutritious orchard bars. Liberty Orchards Country Store is open 7 days a week for your holiday shopping. Try the delicious confections at the free sample bar and share with family and friends out of state with easy online ordering. Liberty Orchards, taste the goodness.
Praise Fruit Barn has so much to be thankful for and invites you to their holiday open house. Come and enjoy hot cider, wine tasting, and tasty treats as they celebrate the announcement of being open every month of the year. Leavenworth Quilt Company inspires ideas from simple to amazing with gorgeous fabrics, interesting patterns, and inspiration for all levels of quilter. Shop Dilly Dally, a wonderful gift shop with many one-of-a-kind gifts and a corner just for the little ones. Stop on by this Saturday for the open house at Praise Fruit Barn.
Hey folks, Carrie from Blueberry Hills. A chill is in the air and it's a perfect time for some old-fashioned comfort food like our amazing Eggs Benedict, chicken fried steak, French dips, soups made from scratch, or fruit pies fresh from the oven. The crowds might be gone, but we're still here for you folks. So bring an appetite and a friend to Blueberry Hills in Manson, where you pick, you sit, you eat, and you visit. Open Wednesday through Sunday from 8 to 3. wildaboutberries.com.
If you're stuck trying to find the perfect beer for you, look no further than Badger Mountain Brewing. We specialize in creating tantalizing craft beers that will soothe any picky taste buds and will satisfy your cravings. Check out everything from our amazing Honey Blonde that will appease even the most finicky taster, or a delicious frothy stout for dark beer lovers. Experience them all at Badger Mountain Brewing.
This is Mike Mad Dog Magnotti, and everybody is entitled to my opinion. Now, you know I used to be a cop, right? Well, part of my job was writing traffic tickets. But, you know, you may not know this. Most cops really don't like writing tickets to people. Yeah, once in a while, we got a good deal of satisfaction if we were writing a speeding ticket to some self-righteous yuppie gal driving a powder blue Volvo station wagon. Well, that's besides the point. Now, police administrators always deny that there's any kind of monetary inducement to writing tickets. They stress that traffic enforcement by writing tickets is for reasons of traffic safety, they say. But, you know, the reality is people respond better to driving more carefully after they get a verbal warning they do when they get a ticket. Now, maybe the cops in the court should just admit, yeah, traffic tickets make us some money, make us some dough. Well, admit it. Hey, this is Mike Mad Dog Magnotti, and that's my opinion.
Join us for Street Talk and Other Stuff with Mike Magnotti on the NCW Life channel. This former police sergeant is plugged into not only the world of the streets, he's an actor and connoisseur of the arts. So join Mike and his guest for, well, Street Talk and Other Stuff. Mondays at 10 a.m., Tuesdays and Thursdays at 2 p.m., and Wednesdays at 5:30. It's Street Talk and Other Stuff with Mike Magnotti on the NCW Life channel.
Hi, I'm Blair from Works, your workout prescription. Have you ever started an exercise program and then struggled to keep it going? So what if I told you that with this MyZone device, I could increase your chances of self-motivated exercise adherence by over 200%. Combine that with an exercise prescription specifically for your level of readiness, we'll increase it even more. And that's our new member success system. It's $99. It's exclusively at Works. It includes your MyZone belt. Works. YourWorkoutRx.com.
Having a relationship with your pediatrician is so important. Feeling that sense of trust, that is priceless. I tell everybody about CBCH. I love it there. When I make an appointment, I don't have to take an entire day off. As a working mom, my life is really busy. Family time is everything. That's what we all work towards. And I feel like CBCH respects that.
Thursday night, hockey night on the NCW Life channel. It all begins at 7 o'clock with a call of the Wild and Clarkie's Corner. Then it's non-stop hockey action with the voice of the Wild, Arch Ecker. Join us as the Wild battle the rest of the BCHL. Thursday night is hockey night on the NCW Life channel.
36 minutes after the hour on this Monday edition of Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. I am Dan Kuntz. Thanksgiving is in the books. Next up, Christmas. Christmas season is now officially underway, and that means, of course, the Salvation Army, their Red Kettle Drive, and the Bell Ringers. And last Friday, Major Ralph Jimenez visited me on this very show, and here's our conversation. Ralph Jimenez from the local chapter of Salvation Army joins me. Good morning.
Good morning.
Thanks for joining me on the show.
Thank you.
Before we get into all that good stuff, how was your Thanksgiving? Did you have
It was good. Yes.
Did you eat any turkey?
No.
No.
No turkey.
Okay, that's it. To each his own.
Right.
We'll talk about how you can participate, how you can volunteer, where you can find all of the bell ringers, which is they affectionately call. But before we get to that, a little something about Major Jimenez. Where did you come from? Give me a little background on yourself.
Well, we were 4 years. My wife and I were 4 years in Aberdeen, Washington, and we moved over to Wenatchee. Prior to that, we were in Auburn, California, for 4 years, and we've been around. This is our 22nd year in the Salvation Army, so we've been around the Western United States. In those 22 years, we made probably about 6 or 7 moves, something like that. I don't even remember anymore.
It's the nature of the beast.
Yes,
that's what you sign up for.
Right.
So why the Salvation Army? What part of you? What said? The little voice in Ralph's head said, "I think I have a calling, and I think it's going to be the Salvation Army." Is that what happened?
That's exactly it. My wife and I both felt the calling, and strange enough, it was around the holiday season. We were helping out, just volunteering at the Salvation Army, giving out gifts to clients that came to pick them up, and we just felt a calling we wanted to do that. We felt, it felt good to give back, and so we've been doing it ever since. So.
Salvation Army is full of success stories, the good works that the Salvation Army does. I have a very good friend of mine who at one point here in the Wenatchee Valley was literally with his family living out of his car. Mm-hmm. And now he's a professional in a professional field, and he has a home and a lovely wife and kids, and they're safe and warm and happy, and they love living in Wenatchee. And he said it was all because of the Salvation Army. They came and helped him in his time of need.
Yes.
So there's probably a lot of those.
Yes.
You get that all the time, don't you?
There is.
Yes. Can you give me an example of maybe a recent success story that you've dealt with since you came here 5 months ago?
Oh, I haven't really, I couldn't even say right now because I haven't been involved with the social services as much. Mm-hmm. So I haven't seen much success stories yet.
Did you know much about North Central Washington, the Wenatchee area, before you came here from Aberdeen? Have you been here before? Do you know
I
anything
have
about
been
it?
here before. In the
Okay.
80s. I used to, before I was in the Salvation Army, I used to play on a softball team.
Okay.
And we used to come and play in a tournament every summer here in Wenatchee. It was just something we did. And this community has really grown since the 80s.
Yes, it has.
A
It's
lot.
taken off. And ironically enough, Aberdeen is going the other direction. Aberdeen
Yes.
is getting smaller and smaller
It
and
is.
smaller. Are the challenges the same between Aberdeen and Wenatchee in California? Are they always the same, or is every town a little different?
It is a little different, yes. You always have something going on that's quite different in the community, and you have to work with it.
When you got the call that you were going to move from Aberdeen, Washington to Wenatchee, Washington, were you excited? Were you happy to hear about it?
Yes, we were.
Yeah.
We really were. We really liked the warm weather, and that's always nice. But we really didn't, even though I came, every summer and played ball, still didn't know much about it, except it got warm in the summer. So, but otherwise, yeah, we were excited.
Has the community been, reached out to you and welcomed you and all
Yes.
that good stuff? We're a pretty gregarious bunch of folks here in North Central Washington.
It's been very nice to be here so far, yes.
So you've been in the Salvation Army for 22 years. For those people who are unfamiliar with how it works, it's a nomadic experience.
Yes.
You have to be committed to just pull up stakes and go. As you mentioned, you've probably moved 7 or 8 times.
Right.
Because why is that? Why is that part of the Salvation Army's mission to
Sometimes it's related to different movement within the Salvation Army that causes you to move, or somebody wasn't expected to move and they got to move, and that it's like a domino effect in that sense. Certain people have to move. Or it could be the compatibility between the congregation and the officer. Sometimes it's they don't want you to get too settled in your position in the Army. They want you to, I guess, always moving forward and doing well where you're at, and not, in a sense, get stagnant. They don't like to see that. So
and accepting new challenges is always a good thing.
Yes, it is, even though it's hard on you and you're not used to it, and I never get used to it. I'm not that type of person that gets used to it, but like you said, we signed up for it, and that's what happens.
Your wife must be a very strong woman. She's your partner?
Yes.
She's traveled with you every place that
Right.
you have gone. Is she involved heavily in the
Yes.
Salvation Army? Is she
Yes. She's a pastor,
Okay.
like myself, and yes, she pretty much does everything that I do or can do. We work together, and if she has to do what I do, she does it. If I have to do what she does, take responsibility for if something, she's out of town or something, I do it. So we can pretty much work together and not work together if we have to.
The Salvation Army has a structure, as you might imagine. You are reportable to certain people in the Salvation Army up the chain of command, so to speak. But you're also reportable to a local board, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. Explain that.
Yes, the local advisory board here, we meet with them once a month throughout the year, and they're basically advise us on how the community's doing. They help us recruit board members from the community, and they show us if there's things that we want to do within the Salvation Army here. They help us and advise us on which direction we should go, things of that nature.
Well, there's no question the highest profile thing that the Salvation Army does every year is the kettle drive, the red kettle drive, and the bell ringers and all that stuff. Give me the history of that. I tried to do a little internet research on it, and I didn't get very far. Can you help me out?
Well, the late 1800s in actually Oakland, California, one of the officers there, who happened to come over from England, had decided to put it was very, I guess there was in the late 1800s, there was sort of a depression, and they were looking to help people in the community. And he had remembered that in England that they had put out a pot over by the docks. So he took one down to the docks. It was just a regular, like a cauldron type pot, and tried that. And as the sailors were getting off the ships, they would put money into the pot. And once he started doing it, he kept doing it for years, and it just caught on within the Salvation Army, and it just grew. And it did begin in the Salvation Army in Oakland, California, and then now it's I don't know where it's at throughout the world, but it did start there in Oakland, and late 1800s, the 1890s, I believe, when it started, and Yeah, and that's been the biggest fundraiser for a lot of the Salvation Armies in the United States.
Is the this is going to sound like a silly question. You guys have a change counting machine at the office?
We do.
We
do.
There's a penny. There's a penny. So you have one of those, right?
We have one of those older machines, and it goes around the money. And some have newer machines, but we do have an older machine that counts the coin. Yes.
Well, I've been I volunteered as a bell ringer at the East Wenatchee Safeway a number of years ago, and it was fun. I was out there for 4 hours on a bitterly cold December afternoon, but people just, they're giving, and it's a fun thing to do too. You have to get used to the because that's, after a while, you can be a little discombobulated. Right. It's one thing. So you have the red kettle. Why the bell? Because if you stand there in your Salvation Army issued vest and you have the red kettle, is the bell a bit of an overkill? You're kind of standing out there anyway. People can't miss you.
Right. I'm not sure, but I think it is to attract people. I think sometimes you can get lost. The volunteers, most of them wear the apron, but I think it's letting people know that we are there.
Yeah, well, it works.
Yes.
The businesses that you're affiliated with, as I mentioned before, I did mine at the East Wenatchee Safeway. No problems at all. Hey, it's Major Jimenez. Can we come see you again this year? Yeah. Are they already signed up? Have they been doing it forever? How does that work? The relationship between your organization and the businesses with the bell ringers?
Actually, some of the major companies, they have a national contract with them. So like Walmart or Penny's, I don't know, some of the other ones that they basically have to put it together with the National Salvation Army and the corporate office of who, like say Walmart.
Okay.
They put them together and then they send them down the chain to all the local Salvation Armies and let us know if we're going to be able to ring this year or not. And normally it's no problem. It hasn't been a problem. So.
Yeah, they're always at the same locations every year.
Right.
Which brings up an interesting point. As the old-fashioned brick and mortar stores are in trouble, we all know that. A lot of people are switching over to internet purchasing. Has that affected the amount of money that you raise? Is that something that's concerning the Salvation Army, because less and less people are physically going to stores where the bell ringers are?
Right. I'm not sure on that.
Yeah.
We haven't seen it that much, so I couldn't really answer that. It has been less over the last few years, but I don't know if that can be attributed also to having to hire bell ringers and the minimum wage going up. That plays into it too. That's why we're always looking for volunteers.
And we'll talk about that here in just a couple minutes, how you can get involved with the Salvation Army. It seems to me that probably the best places to set up, and I'm just spitballing here, Major, is grocery stores. Because yes, you can still buy stuff online. You can buy your TV online or whatever, but you can't buy a head of lettuce online, and you can't buy milk and eggs and cheese and everything. So my guess is the grocery stores are really the big bonanzas for you guys.
They are good for us.
Yeah.
One of the two biggest, probably the two biggest stores are Fred Meyer and Walmart. Of course, they're both grocery stores, but they're also retail, clothing stores and stuff like that. So you got both, the best of both worlds there. And so yeah, they're probably the two best stores. But yes, you can always depend on your grocery stores to do well also.
I know this is your first bell ringing Red Kettle Drive here in the Wenatchee Valley. Is there funny stories about things that were found in the kettle at the end of the day, or maybe like there's a $500 bill or something? Yeah, anything like that?
The only one that I've seen so far has been a gold coin. Wow. We've had one of those, and that was years ago. That's the only thing I have seen so far. I think I've seen a $1,000 check come in, but that's probably the most that I've seen in my career so far.
Yeah. It's kind of hard to be, to me, for being a true charitable gift, it has to be anonymous. That's the way we were. But it's kind of hard to be anonymous when you run a check for $1,000.
Right.
It's kind of hard to hide your identity there, right?
Yes.
So we're talking to Major Jimenez from the Wenatchee chapter of the Salvation Army. We're going to take a quick little break. When we come back, how you can get involved, become a bell ringer, and help out the Salvation Army with their annual Red Kettle Drive when we come back with Major Jimenez. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Live channel.
This is the NCW Live Life Community Calendar brought to you by Localtel. Journey to Bethlehem is November 30 to December 3 and includes a large cast, a living nativity with a camel, and a Christmas concert. Tour times are listed at j2bwenatchee.org. The Wenatchee High School Madrigal Feast is November 30 to December 2. This kingly dinner, replete with song and entertainment, will take place at the WHS Auditorium at 5 p.m. each night. For more information, visit ncwlife.com.
The 2017 Ski-Doo Summit sleds. Next generation rev platform. The most powerful two-stroke engine in the industry. For the unmatched handling and power to own the next side hill, the next drop, the next ride. Ski-Doo. What matters is what's next.
Some people put everything into their work. They put their name on the door and their heart in the community. Some people make their lives work to carry on traditions that cross over the decades. When you shop these local businesses, you support all the things that make our community great, and the money you spend stays here in the Valley. We give thanks to our sponsors who support this message: Collins Fashions in downtown Wenatchee, the Wenatchee Valley Senior Activity Center, and Clark's Jewelry on Palouse.
Travel enhances your life in every way. Let the travel professionals at Journey Travel and Tours help you plan that dream vacation. Don't leave the important details to those nameless, faceless online agencies. At Journey Travel and Tours, our goal is to build relationships that last a lifetime. And when you do need help, we have a 24-hour helpline that is routed to one of the agents in our office. When you think travel, think Journey Travel and Tours. It's where your journey begins. Like us on Facebook, and you could be one of our monthly winners.
And we are back with Major Ralph Jimenez from the Wenatchee chapter of the Salvation Army. The Red Kettle Drive is underway. The bell ringers have been out now for about a week or so, but now it's full bore. Here we go, right?
It is. Right.
So there's two ways to be a bell ringer. One, you can be paid. They pay you a minimum wage, and you go out and do it, and it basically becomes a holiday job. You get some extra cash, or most importantly, you can just volunteer. And that's what you really want. You want to have some volunteers.
Yes, we do. We always love to have volunteers, and you can call us at the Salvation Army to set that up. And it really helps. It really helps us because I don't know if most people know that money does stay here in Wenatchee, and it helps the people in our community. So.
As I mentioned before, I was a bell ringer as a volunteer. It doesn't take a great skill set.
Right.
If you can smile, talk to people, wear a red apron, and do this, you got the gig, right? It helps if you're not shy, I suppose.
It does. It really does. A lot of if you are, it can be difficult. But putting a smile on your face and just saying, Merry Christmas, it helps. It helps. It brightens up a person's day. They may not drop some money in as they're going in, but they may drop it on the way back out.
That's the whole idea.
Right.
Is there any training involved?
There is, actually.
Okay.
There's the Salvation Army had put together a few years back the do's and don'ts of training for the Salvation Army.
Give me the do's and the don'ts.
Oh gosh. Well, you should all the things you should do is basically be courteous, welcome everybody, ring your bell, don't be lounging around or holding up a wall or smoking a cigarette at the kettle. Gosh, I can't think of all of them. But it's pretty basic.
The people who are doing this are de facto representations of the Salvation Army. So
they
there's
are.
certain decorum things that you have to observe.
Right.
So.
And people normally in the community, if they see something that they don't like, they'll give you a call and they'll let you know. So we always tell our bell ringers to beware of that, because if they see something that is not quite right, they'll let us know. So everybody needs to do a good job.
And those people who've done it in the past already had that skill set.
Yes.
Yeah. So I'm sure they probably defer to the professional bell ringers who've been doing this for years.
Right.
So you call up, you volunteer, you say, Major, I'm in. There's a schedule,
yes,
or
there
these
is.
are the hours I'm available to you. How does that whole thing work?
Pretty much that way. The volunteer can call in and say, this is the day and hours that I'm available. Can you fit me in? And then we can look on our schedule and see if we can fit them in. And normally we can. Our weekends have been filling up pretty quickly. We have a lot of service clubs in the community that have volunteered. It's been great to see already volunteering and filling up those Saturdays. But there's always room for more volunteers.
What about age restrictions, things like that?
Yes, you have to be 18 or over, but if you're a volunteer with an adult and you're with your parent, you can volunteer with them.
Good. And for those people who want to actually get paid to do this, how does that, what do they have to go through to be
They would
paid?
have to go through the company workforce and talk to Lori, and she would see about hiring them. And that's pretty much what they'd have to do if they wanted to get paid.
Do shifts vary in length, Major? Do they? I can do 4 hours straight, no problem. Just give me a cup of coffee and I'll get her done. Or
Right. For the paid employees, it's normally a 6.5 hour shift because they do take a lunch, and sometimes they break that in half. For volunteers, we leave it up to them. We'll try to fit them in any hours they can work. We do like 2-hour shifts if at all possible, but we will, or even longer if they like to, but we will try to fit them in whatever they can do.
And if you volunteer and you're in and you're scheduled, and my guess is when you show up to do this for the first time, somebody from your organization is there to tell you what to expect.
Exactly.
This person will come by and check the kettle, or
right, exactly.
If the kettle gets full and you can't get anything, call this number and we'll come get it. That's how that works?
Yes,
okay.
That's exactly how it works, yeah.
So, give the Major and the good folks of the Salvation Army a hand. Look, give them a call at that phone number that you see on your screen. Get it scheduled. Yes, it's nice to be paid. You get minimum wage. It's nice to get paid, but what they really want to do is kind of phase out the whole paid bell ringer, red kettle people and go straight to volunteers. And this is a nationwide thing that Salvation Army is trying to do, right?
Yes, yes.
So.
Family means something in these parts. Family owned and operated means even more. At Rose Tractor, you're buying more than a product. You're buying years of knowledge through multiple generations. It means you can count on Rose for quality products, quality repairs, and folks who stand behind the products they sell. From your job site to your home to rentals and repairs to new outdoor power equipment, Rose Tractor is growing with you throughout the years. Rose Tractor, quality brands you can trust year after year.
Ladies of the Wenatchee Valley, do you know the secret of receiving the perfect gift for your birthday, anniversary, or Christmas? We have the answer for you at Collins Fashions. Come in and fill out a wish list. You can choose from beautifully crafted jewelry, handbags, and luggage from Brighton, stylish wallets and handbags from Lotus, cozy sweaters from Icelandic, zip fleece from Tommy Bahama, fashions from Joseph Ribkop, and Collins gift cards. Our little elves can contact your loved ones and share your wish list. Complimentary gift wrap and amazing service at Collins Fashions in downtown Wenatchee.
At D.A. Davidson in Wenatchee, we provide financial services for independent-minded clients working to secure their future. Whether it's helping to construct your personal financial, retirement, or estate plan, we start with a disciplined approach and straightforward advice. Our look-you-in-the-eye attentiveness that our clients demand and get is rooted in values that are as human as a handshake. D.A. Davidson's straightforward approach is the way we've done it for 80 years.
Thursday night, hockey night on the NCW Life Channel. It all begins at 7 o'clock with a call of the Wild and Clarkie's Corner. Then it's non-stop hockey action with a voice of the Wild, Arch Ecker. Join us as the Wild battle the rest of the BCHL. Thursday night is hockey night on the NCW Life Channel.
And we are back at it live here on a beautiful sunny Monday morning here in north central Washington. And it's a pretty good looking forecast. It's going to be quiet most of this week. Quite a bit of sunshine today and a high of 46. Little system, very minor system rolls in tonight into Tuesday. Could get a little bit of light rain Tuesday night, even mixed with snow. Nothing really accumulation. A 40% chance of light rain is what we're looking at Tuesday night. And then another day of gorgeous, beautiful sunshine on Wednesday, and then another little system comes in Thursday into Friday. Again, as far as precipitation in the Wenatchee Valley, almost none expected. It's almost unmentionable, but it's out there. It's just enough. That's why we put a couple of snowflakes here and a couple of raindrops there on the graphic. And then right into the weekend, we kind of alternate between the sun and the clouds. All things considered, pretty typical November weather. And a reminder, Friday is December. Quick look at the mountain passes. Things are looking pretty good. The only advisory right now is Stevens Pass. It stopped snowing on Stevens Pass, by the way. Snow quality is looking good. They're getting some snow. Actually, now a traction tire advisory was just posted. Sure enough, as soon as I mentioned that, they posted a traction tire advisory on I-90 Snoqualmie Pass. The roadway is pretty much bare. You're going to find some slush in places. There's Stevens. Traction tires are advised there. Snow, slush, and ice on the roadway. Blewett Pass is fine. No advisories, no restrictions. A couple of inches of snow today in the mountain passes. A couple of inches of snow tonight. 3 to 7 inches on Tuesday, an additional 2 to 4 inches on Tuesday night, as the system is going to give us a little bit of light rain here in the valley floor, is going to give snow in the mountain passes. That's it for this program. Tomorrow on Wake Up Wenatchee Valley, Glenn Fisher will be my guest. The Journey to Bethlehem is back. We'll talk about that tomorrow. Until then, have a great Monday. Take care. Bye-bye.